See, Andy, see, Andy, see, Andy, I don't mind what his actions in Knoxville. He fucked some chick. He got some blowjob from some chick and then fucked her, right? That I don't mind. You know what I mind? That he was scraping the bottom of the barrel. I mean, it was she was just like this real porker. I mean, this tattooed porker. There was a lot of good trim in Knoxville, and Andy was the big hero, you know. But no, he couldn't work up the motivation, work up the gumption to go after some, better trim. No, 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 no. He settled for the porker. You know, he settled for the bottom of the barrel, right? And like, every time I have a private conversation with Andy, it's like I broke up with Shaban. I'm back with Shaban. I broke up with Shaban. I'm back with Shaban. I've seen Shaban. She's another porker. She's another bottom of the barrel. You know, that indicates something. That indicates a lack of self-respect, self-regard. I mean, come on. I'm sorry. I don't scrape the bottom of the barrel insofar as my women are concerned. I'm certainly not going to show pictures of the women I'm with now, but I don't scrape the bottom of the barrel. Andy, man, and he's like acting like he's like the big stud. It's like you fuck the town pig, and you're like Casanova. That's kind of weird. That's Andy.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's been quite a while. Um, Meant to do a stream much earlier, but then there were some complications getting in the way. But figure better late than never, and boy, no time like the present. That clip you heard at the beginning, that was from the stream with Coach Red Pill, and that really went into places that I didn't even expect it would go to. Like, if you think that Andy hooking up with some fat chick with a tattoo was the iceberg, well, no, that's just the tip of it. So, last we checked with Coach and Andy and friends, um, Andy was mad at JF. JF was mad at Andy. And apparently, Coach didn't like that Andy was going after JF. We learned then that Coach was just doing that, was essentially tied to the hip, was, is and was tied to the hip of JF. And essentially, he's doing a lot of moves in order to get back at Andy, so to say, and affirm his standing with the right side. In addition to that, since then though, like it's I'm not even sure where to begin with this one. There's been a lot that's been going on, and I mean a lot. Like there's been DM leaks with the girl. There's been DM leaks with Ralph and some other people that are tangentially involved with this. There's been shifts in alliances between the major players involved. Zoom has decided to make some moves which are very interesting, and it's I honestly don't know how I'm going to recap this whole thing in a cohesive fashion. There's just so much to cover. I'll probably miss a bunch, and if I do, just let me know, and I'll get to it on the next episode, which I should be starting daily streams with this one, and then tomorrow I'll just go ahead and do the next one on this topic, or these sets of topics, rather. Anyway, So after hearing this comment here kind of went under the radar. When I first listened to it, I thought like it was not really that big of a deal, but yeah, I was dead wrong about that. There is a this girl that Andy chose. Um, she has a very public online presence, and let's see. Let me see if I can get a good one of her. Her name is Kirsten. I believe she's going by not Kirsten on Twitter at the moment. Let's see. I know I had a good photo of her to give a good idea of what she looks like. Ah, here we go. Okay. Now, yes, the story that Coach is recounting is real. It's been confirmed by pretty much all the parties involved, including Andy, the girl, Ralph. And this is what she decided to post to Twitter right before Knoxville, which I'm not sure if the tweet of this still exists, but it doesn't matter. Getting getting prepared for Knoxville, y'all, or something like that. Show that right away. Here we go. But how do we know this is her? Well, it seems like her. All that body weight on her. The giant tattoos I was talking about, multiple ones of them. And yeah, this is what Andy considers hot. Yeah. In his own words, like drinking will make a 9 seem off. Although he claims that she was only a 4, 2.5, but that later turned out he was just drunk at the time. But that later turned out to be a lie. See, he kind of rated this like a 9, but just because he was drunk. Let me see if I have a clip of that. Let's see. And I believe I do. All right, I see Miles pointing out the stream is glitching. A few beers and shots can change that perspective. Well, yeah, you figure that maybe that's the reason why Andy slept with this girl. It's not like he has a fat fetish or anything, given the fact that he's sleeping around with 2 giant women, which that's quite a coincidence, isn't it? Okay, it was just your end. All right, that's fine. Yeah, no, that's not what's going on at all. No, no. See, Andy had it. It later turns out over time that we learned a lot about this, and this becomes from the DM leaks from the girl because Andy on, I believe, Sunday, yeah, Sunday or Monday. I'm already losing track of the timeline here. Andy had gone ahead and done a stream, and he spurged out completely. It was really, really bad on his part. Like, this is a stream. Normally, when Andy spurgs out, there's at least an entertainment value to it. Like, he has a way of just playing that up to his advantage, and making like, you can either laugh at Andy or with Andy. He'll usually play it to create some kind of performance article. But this time, no, he was just miserably depressed, and he was restreaming an old game of hit that he ran before, apparently as a coping mechanism, or maybe just to provide something in the background because it seems so impromptu. And he talked a whole bunch of random shit. He lashed out at Coach for a bunch of shit because trolls were going after her and Andy and others that were revolving around him. And we've already seen that Andy doesn't take trolling very well. And there was a couple particular points, at least one in particular I wanted to bring up. Let me go ahead and get that. Let's see. This will only take a moment. Okay, let me get that. And let's put it in here. Okay. There we go. All right, so the volume of this might be a bit low, but I'm going to play it anyway.
They keep.
Oh, wait, no, wrong clip. This is relevant in a bit. This will be relevant, trust me. That's not the clip I wanted, though. All right, scrolling up a bit. All right, well, forget that then. I seem to have misplaced it, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, Andy was basically coming out with the story that um, he was on a break with Sinead. He was totally just in on off relationship, and it totally didn't count. Which that turned out to be one of the first easily detectable lies that people pointed out because a couple of images confirm that. In particular, this one here, taken shortly after the fight on January 27th. Pause that here. Huh, now deleted. Wonder what that could be. I mean, I kind of don't blame Sinead for trying to get rid of this, but we're going to take a look at it. There they are, two lovebirds sitting right next to each other. And Andy was trying to make the case that nope, totally was off with her. This just happened to be one of those off periods. Absolutely, I believe there's another image. Let's take a look at a few of these. Not this one yet. That'll be relevant in a moment. This is Andy with the girl at Knoxville, confirming that it is indeed her. In addition to like the admissions from both parties. Some interesting stuff there. But yeah, there was also an image. The image I wanted to show was also one where Sinead was wishing Andy love as he went over to Knoxville. So this story that Andy made up that they were just taking a break and stuff like that, no, that wasn't the case at all. Then as it continued, like, let me just get back to the stream though, because Andy really broke down. Most of it really isn't worth going over because it's very long, like 9 hours long. Most of it's irrelevant to like the most active players at the moment. But there were some key highlights there. Andy was like, this is just a thing that happened while he was drunk. He made a mistake. It was in the moment. He shouldn't have done it. And he trashed the girl. He called her a 4, a 2.5 to a 4. He said that she wasn't worth it at all. He was getting his buddies to go ahead and shit on her as well. And Coach made a video, and I'm surprised that I dislike the guy, but he did play a few cards here that made him come on top of the situation. The first one was revealing this incident happened, which honestly I don't think he should have done that. I think that was a slimeball dick move. But as far as like trying to get a reaction out of Andy, yeah, I can see why he did it because it worked. But the second part of that was Coach released like yet another video, and this like which is kind of funny when you think about it because this is a guy who said that he doesn't want anything to do with drama. He wants to back out of it and just walk away from it and focus on making content. But apparently his content is just all drama. Now what's interesting about this video, he doesn't mention Andy by name, but he goes over. But the title of the video is "Never Badmouth a Lay." Yeah. To give a basic summary of it, he went ahead and he talked about how like if this ever happens, it's just gonna end up biting you in the ass because women are just gonna gossip and they're gonna see this as an excuse for them to be able to do so. And even if they're the worst people in the world, you just never say anything bad about them. Which honestly, I think that's just really stupid advice. I think the proper advice should be don't get involved. Don't put your dick in crazy. I mean, if a woman is gonna go ahead and start emptying all your dirty laundry everywhere, then yeah, you're better off not fornicating with her in the first place. But also, what Coach said happened. Like he called it, and then all of her DMs drop. Zoom features them on live stream because she contacts Zoom, and Zoom doesn't seem to be the type of guy who's just going to go ahead and take just one side of the story. It seems to be looking at different angles of these things. They're posted on image boards or posted probably elsewhere. And yeah, she had, and these DMs go back to December 4th of last year. And they were talking about all kinds of nasty things. And I'm going to get some of those to show on screen in a moment. Give me a sec. Let me just check the chat real quick. All right. All right, let me get this one here. And yeah, if there's pause interruptions like this, I have a lot of this stuff open, but not organized. So, like I said at the beginning of this stream, there is a lot to go over, a lot. Okay, so let me just switch windows for a second. And I haven't read these in depth, so I'll just read them live on air. All right, and these DMs were released by Kirsten, and they take place on December 4th, 2018. As you can see, this is the beginning of their direct messages on Discord. Hey fag, got it to work. Working, banned. Now we can get notifications, blocked and reported. You're the fag that caused you like dick. So I win. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I'll be able to get through this, to be honest. Andy's always been terrible at spelling. Like, he's just completely retarded as he is with just most of the things that goes about his life, and she's not much better. So this is, I'm gonna have to go. This might be painful. You're the fag cause you like dick, so I win. I mean, you gotta touch your own dick to piss. Kinda gay. To piss? That's the gay part. I jerk off, you know. Now, right away, we can see that this is not them just having a friendly kind of conversation. This is clearly some very overt sexual references, even if it's like to call each other faggots. It does get more involved in this, though. I'm not sure exactly. If it gets too risque, I may have to switch to something else because it might not be friendly for YouTube. Not that this channel, I'm really trying to be, PC when it comes to this channel. To piss? That's the gay part. I jerk off, you know. Pissing is just gay. Gay too. Not gayer than jerking off, technically. My gosh, what kind of... I don't get this. Like, if you approach a girl and you're just talking about how you're both faggots, I don't know what to say about that. Like, is this really a flirting move? I don't know. All right, I'm going to skip over this because it's really just repetitive. Okay, so they talk about more personal stuff. There's more flirting involved. All right, let me get some of that. Okay. Okay, much better. All right. Let me read this as well. All right, so really this may have not been the best idea as far as the stream goes, but basically just if it is, just to go over this real quick, because again, there's been a lot of talk between the two of them for quite some time, especially at the very beginning of the fourth. They planned a meeting where they would just go ahead and fuck right at the get-go, and they talked about this over and over again. And Andy was just trying to make this out to be like, oh, we just talked the one time. And he and Zoom were on stream, and they were arguing, and Zoom had to pry this stuff out of him. So he lied to Zoom. He lied to his audience when he was telling people what happened with the girl. And again, it gets even worse than this, because he also mentioned that during the whole, because the time period of this takes place is during when the whole quote unquote training session, when he was going all hardcore, doing all kinds of super advanced um, workouts and stuff like that, going on special diets, giving up smoking, etc. But the reality was he was doing drugs. Like he said he gave up that shit, but no, he was doing cocaine, he was doing weed, and apparently he was also popping pills. And what's interesting about this is that A, he's a hardcore druggie, worse off than we already knew, and B, like we don't know exactly how much of that training was like I always suspected that he wasn't as training as much as he was. In fact, I think it was pretty obvious. But for a good deal portion of the time, he was just being typical Andy. Like this kind of hero he's trying to present himself as was just a complete fraud. He lied about all that. And not only that, it turns out that when he was taking those pills, he actually stole pain medication from his sister just to get high. Now, we knew that Andy liked to take cocaine, and we knew that this was a vice he had. That's a narcotic that's illegal, and it was what it was, etc. But what we didn't know was that, but we never thought it was that big of a deal, because it was just apparently that one time in LA when he was at his house, and maybe a couple times after that. But no, Andy's taking multiple different hardcore drugs and stealing medication from people to get high. This man, the reason why he's so retarded is because he has a drug problem, and he's hiding it. He's not doing anything about it, and it explains a lot of his behavior. It explains why he goes ahead and does these suicidal actions, like, burning his nipple on a live stream, and going ahead and essentially like doing things that are just completely spurgy a lot and just not, and very short-sighted. Like the one time he decided to flag someone's Twitter account because they were making fun of him. Another time when he decided to go ahead and charge back failure for the money that he paid him for services that were rendered. I mean, there's a long laundry list of things that Andy did that were questionable and very sporadic. And this also puts new, like, it's also would explain why he handled JF's situation so badly, aside from him just naively believing that JF was somehow his friend. Like, he went on the Kumite talking about all this problems he's been having, and it all adds up. The guy's high out of his mind constantly. And this would also match with previous behaviors of his that he's expressed, including constant overmasturbation, constant watching of VR, and other things. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I think for me personally, like the biggest lie would have to be the drug thing, because he said he was going to get sober. He told his audience this, and he's also stealing medication from his sister. That's pretty fucked up, even from what we previously knew about Andy. And it's pretty lousy behavior all around. It's something that a lot of people have taken notice on. But there was one person in particular, which gets the other side of like what's been happening, why this is like why I said there's a lot to cover, and I'm doing my best I can to recap it all, and why I have so many links that are just there as opposed to ready it beforehand. But I'll get to that in a second. I just want to read some more of the chat first. Polyamorous soy boy cuckold Gotis Worski. Yep, it's pretty. I don't think he's a girl, but yeah, all those other adjectives apply. Streaming buffering like a motherfucker this week. Problem was Andy Whale Hunt. Yeah, I've noticed that stream has some flaws, and I know I said I was going to do a stream on streaming, but that got kind of pushed out of the way due to a lot of stuff that was happening. And yeah, one of the things I was going to bring up was the fact that for as much as people are like saying go to streaming and stuff, one reason that makes me not want to go there does have to do with the site. Hold on a minute, give me a moment. Apparently my mic has an issue. Okay, someone in the chat said the mic is screeching. I'm not sure how that is. Just give me one quick second. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what to do with the mic. If someone could explain the issue more detail, maybe I can fix it while I'm there. Unfortunately, I don't know what the issue is, so I can't really do much about it. So yeah, sorry about that. If there's, let me know if you can make out my what I'm saying, then let me know. If not, I'll try to troubleshoot it further. All right. Okay. There's also one more comment that I missed. Where were you on V for the THQ AMA? Caused some decent kvetching. No, I'm not familiar with that. You'd have to fill me in as to what that's about. Remember that fat Mexican bitch Queenie from Not Your Shield? Oh yeah, yeah. She's still around too. She's apparently became a big MCM manager. Which remember I asked her a bunch of questions about before people realized that she was just in it for the shekels really. Yeah, she apparently, funny enough, she actually is the MCM for V's channel, or is networked with him at any event. But anyway, this leads to like another part of the story that's going on. Ralph wasn't too much pleased, or rather, Ralph didn't really want to react to any of this. He didn't want to give his take on these situations for the most part, and he just kind of wanted to lay back, give the excuse that like, oh, I haven't really looked into it. This was, I believe, last night on Monday's kill stream. Before that, he was on Worski's show. He was goofing and palling around with him, talking about the events at Knoxville, like the good and the bad, talking about the girl, talking about some issues with Coach Red Pill, etc. Basically stuff that Andy was talking about. And then he was fine. He was fine playing damage control with Andy, essentially. But when it came to talk about, Andy's subsequent fallout and the revelation that he lied to Zoom, they lied to his audience, he lied to a whole bunch of people, and he lied to his girlfriend, etc. When that came out and what was going on with that, Ralph didn't want to say anything for the most part. In fact, people had to bring it to his attention, and then he ended up playing some parts of it. Now, I didn't listen to the full confrontation between Zoom and Andy, but apparently they went against each other. Apparently, Ralph just played the lowest points of that interview. He didn't play the highlights, the parts where Andy really looked bad. So it's a good way for it. So my interpretation of that is Ralph's really trying to downplay this because he has a deal with Worski and attached to that GoFundMe that he and him put together. There's a lot of money involved with that. They're planning on going to Miami and doing some shows there. And if Worski is down for the count, they're supposed to go in like less than 2 weeks. So if Worski's in a bad state, that's really going to be bad for Ralph's business. So of course he's not. Of course he's not going to talk about this. And he's going to move on to like I don't know, news articles, politics, quote unquote, when there's nothing really all that interesting going on in politics at the moment. Um, and that was a clip I was showing earlier that I said would be relevant soon because Zoom went on and called him out over it. And honestly, I think that that Zoom is 100% correct. All right. So let's see. Oh, and one quick thing because I just saw this in the chat. THQ did an AMA on Full Chan a few hours ago. Quinn Types made a big stink, so THQ had to apologize. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it wasn't really uncommon. It wasn't. I remember that developers used to do this on 4chan and 8chan, where they'd start threads and do AMAs where people can ask them questions anonymously. It was actually a kind of a cool spin on image boards where you could just go there to ask some celebrity anonymously a question and they'd answer it. But it does figure that, the feminists would have an issue with it because they hate anonymity because it makes people, they believe it emboldens people to say problematic things or whatever. But yeah, I'll look more into that later. Um, let me pull up that clip real quick. Okay. All right. So this post about the otter drama, and it's a zoom on the kill stream last night. And I'll play that real soon, shortly.
Asking the same question, and they keep asking the same question, and I guess I should ask it too. They want to know why you're becoming the mundane mad of Stream Me.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people keep repeating. I keep hearing it constantly. I'm just wondering if you feel that you're slowly becoming the mundane mad of Stream.
No, I don't feel that. I mean, are you becoming the fat faggot of streaming?
No.
Okay. Well, I guess we both feel that we're not doing those things then.
I mean, I'm not taking shots at you. I'm asking because like people keep saying that like you're just like reading the news and not having guests anymore or stuff like that, and
Well,
they're giving you a lot of shit for it. I'm just wondering, like,
I just had
I know
a
that
guest.
people never ask you about that stuff.
I just had a guest though.
Which one, Jesse Lee Peterson?
Well, we just had the student today. We had Jesse Lee Peterson on last Monday. We had Dick Masterson. I think we had another guest last week at some point, but I can't recall at this juncture. But yeah, we got a couple more guests.
I don't know why people are so angry at you. Like they're always talking about how like your show is gonna die and how you're getting less callers every day. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. It looks fine to me. It looks consistent. Like I don't know why they hate you so much, Ralph. Like you're just trying to make money.
I don't know, man. People are angry sometimes. I'm not sure, but
yeah, they hate me. They hate Andy. They want us all to hate each other. They call you Monday Matt. They call Gator a wannabe Jim. Say he's discount Jim with a retarded speaking scholarship.
And they call you a pedophile and
yeah. It's like, why do they do that shit? We're just trying to make some money, man. It's not cool.
Yeah, it's really not cool, man. But yeah, thank you for calling in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I hope you have a good show. I hope you get some more guests on. I'm looking forward to seeing Stream Me expand, and you definitely do.
Thank
you,
man.
Good luck, guys.
Appreciate it. All right, there we go.
All right, and you just heard Zoom calling into the kill stream to let Ralph know about like what people in the chat are saying and what people elsewhere are saying, essentially. Now, you may have picked up that Zoom was being very passive aggressive in that call. I believe this was due to like I don't know this for certain. Like I'm speculating here, but it came across to me like Zoom was calling out Ralph for basically going soft and moderate that night, in light of his falling out with Andy, and in light of Andy just being a general spurg, and that the show was getting boring by pointing out all those reasons where he wasn't taking callers, he wasn't taking guests, which those are exaggerations, but if you look at the kill stream, they aren't really taking in a whole lot of guests. Like they get Mark Collette in a few dozen times. They get Dick Masterson in a few dozen times, and they get people that they have in their circles on, for sure. They get people they get people of the alt-rightish persuasion like David Duke. They get people who hate on Sargon, etc. There's a lot of new people. And when he's talking about there being a lack of callers, that's technically not true because Ralph does get in the same few dozen callers on his shows, but there's been a very severe lack of first-time callers there. And that's what makes a show. You have to have newbies entering in and being able to call in. If it's just the same group of people in over and over again, then it becomes stale and boring. Nobody likes it. The content dries up and it dies. And and him calling it the mundane Matt, Zoom calling Ralph the mundane Matt of Stream Me. Say that he's exactly like mundane Matt, but a lot of his content is essentially just watching other people's content, reading articles, and then relaying it back, and it does become stale. I mean, you have to have filler every once in a while. Don't get me wrong. And sure, you can make a good show just out of playing other people's stuff if you provide decent takes and commentary over it. But a lot of times, what Ralph will do is he'll just read an article, say, Gator, what's your take on this? And then Gator will say, well, he gives his political opinion, and then Ralph agrees with that. And I would say Zidane as well, but I haven't seen Zidane in like a month on the show. I mean, I don't tune into every episode, so maybe he's been there, here, or there. Someone can correct me on that. But I think Zidane might be moving on. That's just speculation on my part, and it might not even be a malicious thing on Zidane's part. It might not be because the show's falling. I mean, the reason why Zidane doesn't make so many appearances, as they say, is because he has a busy job being a trucker. That really takes a toll when you're driving all day and presumably all night. That really does take a toll on you, and you really might not be on your show, or you might be busy sleeping, or you might be busy just not wanting to be on, wanting to relax and do something else. And apparently, not even Gator showing up tonight, which leads to another bit of this controversy because it doesn't end there. Let me see if I can pull up some images that are relevant. And these would be from Ralph's Discord that I'm going to show soon. And they really show a very untypical reaction. I highly recommend you get a new mic. Yeah, that might have to be the case. I'm yeah, that was actually one of the goals, to get a new mic eventually. But in any event, let's see, there's a few images that I want to show. Let me see if I can do it this way. Okay. Let's open this one up. Okay, looks good to me. All right, I'm going to expand this. All right, so this is a screenshot I took. In this image, Ralph's complaining that you guys, referring to a group of trolls that know as the Plate Gang in his server, You guys have taken over the server. It's over. Ralph says, I decide it's over. Too bad. Now, the issue here is that the person he's talking to is one of the people he banned. And I believe it's this guy character over here. And you can't see his posts. So context is a bit lost here. But making out from what he's saying, yeah, he's not happy with the trolls. They're notorious for making fun of Ralph. They're notorious for making fun of other people in the server. A lot of people there complained about them being there. And they're also notorious for hanging out with Zoom a lot, which is also relevant because they're not the only ones banned. Give me a second. Oh, the wrong thing there. Let's just get rid of that. Okay. Get rid of that as well. All right. Let's add another image. Oof. That's the reaction that was given there. This guy says woo. The nose knows. What? Why did you want God banned? Referring to Godspeed. Gee, why would Zoom get banned? This guy posting emoji of a Jew clapping their hands. We can all see where this is going. Gunspeed will go after Jay Caesar now. It was nice knowing you, Gunt Whale, referring to Ralph. Laughing my ass off, VC niggers sold today, it's great. And Ralph responds to the comment criticisms. He can go do his own thing. I'm tired of dealing with it all. And the passive aggressive shit. I'm just over it. LOL. Yeah. So apparently, after being on good terms with each other for months and months now, Ralph suddenly doesn't like Zoom. And he wants him banned from his server. And he's tired of it all. Like, am I getting, like, it's like poetry, it rhymes. CRP gets tired. This Ralph is renowned for being involved with the drama. CRP is renowned for being part of the drama. And all of a sudden, both of these characters suddenly don't want to be part of the drama once they're in the hot seat. Like, and in Ralph's case, he just caught a little bit of flack, and now he's folding. And it's not a good look, I'll have to say. Like, once it shows that you're too thin-skinned in this kind of like in this sort of people might quibble over me calling this a blood sports thing, but realistically, that's what it is. It's a blood sports thing, because that's where Ralph started. That's where a lot of his audience came from. That's where a lot of his audience came from, and that's where people. That's what people have noted from. That's where people know from where this came from, and people still call it blood sports show to this day. And that sort of field, when you're essentially going about not being able to take jokes, not being able to take banter, and you have to block out and ban people, that's a sign of weakness and cowardice, and people will rip on you for that. They will make fun of you, and then they will get at you more, because that is the kind of reaction people want. People want to see people spurg and freak out and have all these sorts of things happen to them. And that's what's going on with Ralph now. Now, in addition to this, there's a little bit of detective work done from an image board called Cow. And it's less detective work and more leaks compiled together and other stuff. Which, if you're involved with any of this drama sort of stuff and you're watching these kinds of shows, you should be checking them out first before any other stream, because they usually have the latest takes and the most up-to-date news. Speaking of which, let me get that image. Get that real quick. It may have flashed a couple of times on stream already. So if it looks familiar, that's why. All right, so let's go to the other browser, and here we go. Right off the bat, this is great. All right, so we'll start with this part here. This is a screenshot that was taken by Lord Akira. Um, Ralph, don't pick this fight. Links to a Kiwi Farms thread, especially after the poor showing. Ralph responds with, oh, I'll unblock you just to say this. So this indicates that there's been a time period between this and there. I don't give a fuck how much money you gave me. When you share DMs, you decide to be kill. Good luck in your future endeavors. That's a pretty tough guy message right there. Continues. Post over here. The second Lord Akira left J Caesar 187. He got his info posted. He came to the thread and threatened this shit before. I would say it's obvious as hell he did it. The whole point of doxing people is to humiliate them. There's no good damn point in publishing it if there's nothing there. This was malicious as fuck, and the only purpose was to scare him off the internet. And he's referring to this post here. Apparently this guy is Lord Akira. It's got space over there. It's got some information here. It's not really quite visible. Apparently there's an archive link if you want to check that out. And then Ralph says, oh, that had nothing to do with doxing you. This is another DM that was leaked. Oh, that had nothing to do with doxing you. I just don't want to fuck with you because you're untrustworthy. 100% sure that was 100% sure that was you who leaked the Andy messages with Geek as well, by the way. Yeah, I did see your post on Cow, LOL. And, there's a couple of images of Ralph here. It's Ralph getting really mad here. And then Lord Akira apparently name fagging on Cow, which, why would you ever do that? I guess my mentality is I made good money and didn't really pay for cable, streaming, etc. So I figured why not throw some shekels and make the show improve. The show turned out to be too shit, despite me telling him to go back to basics with it, and I got tired of being ignored for a losing strategy. So to recap, and I'll couch this with one caveat. DMs can possibly be faked, as we all know. It's possible that maybe Ralph is being taken off. I don't think it matters. I don't think it's being taken out of context. It's possible that someone doctored these images to make Ralph look guilty or whatever. But that's not what the rumors say. That's not what people around Ralph are saying. Maybe he'll address this tonight. Maybe he won't. Don't know. What I do know though is that, assuming this is all true, then it's true and accurate information, Ralph is essentially going ahead and telling his fans, and basically doxing his fans who decide to no longer financially support him. Now, I don't know what to tell you about that one. That seems a little like extortion to me. That's what I'm going to say about that. And I think that's really, it's the lamest form of extortion you can go for, a few micro shekels on the internet. But I mean, that's what apparently Ralph is up to right now. So, yeah. I don't know exactly if this is going to be the thing. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with this. I don't know if he's going to continue trying to. I don't know if he's going to get worse or better. The one thing I do know of all this, is Andy. Andy, I think, is hemorrhaging badly as a result of this. I think his reputation is becoming. I think he's in for a big fall soon, which he may or may not recover from. He's been known to be the retarded phoenix, come back from the ashes. Ralph, I think, is on a spiral downwards as well, and JF and CRP, I think, have already taken their blows. They may take some more down the line, and Zoom will probably ascend as he's continuing to make actually good content and actually not make a fool of himself. People gave him crap because apparently he spread the misinfo that Andy told him, and he believed it. But that's not Zoom's fault. If he got stuff wrong because Andy told him things that were not true, if Andy lied to him, which he did, then yeah, that's on Andy. It's not on Zoom. And Zoom said publicly that, yeah, I thought I could trust the guy, and I made that mistake. So I don't really see that as a big negative against Zoom. And Zoom hit #1 on Stream Me this Sunday for the little contest they have where they give out money. And that has not happened before. Usually Ralph has maintained #1 consistently. Now I don't know if Ralph may have taken that place the next day, but now it seems to me that they're going neck and neck, and that's why I think Zoom is on the ascent and the others on the decline that are involved in this. Some people have speculated Zoom might be a master manipulator, whispering into people's ears and like getting them to fight one another. I don't know about that. I do know that Zoom and Andy have contact with each other. I know that they've worked on projects together, but I don't think that's the case. I don't necessarily think that's the case. I don't really see a lot of evidence for that. Some might say that, like, I would say it's more like he's taking advantage of an. I would say that he's exploiting an opportunity, which honestly can't really fault him for that much. He hasn't really done anything manipulative. People are just retards. And the other end of the things, yeah, I think Ralph should just not be overreacting like this. And it makes me wonder what else might be coming out, because apparently Zoom's planning on a stream tonight, and he's going to be and by the looks of things, he's going to be talking about Ralph. So that'll be interesting to tune into. And that's pretty much the gist of things right now. Andy's basically a soy boy who goes after fat women, apparently because of fetish for them, and apparently it's because of all the drugs he's taking. One other thing. There's a rumor that I don't know if it's substantiated or not. Apparently, maybe or maybe not, Gator has decided not to appear on tonight's kill stream, specifically because of this incident with Laura Kira. So, yeah, that brings us pretty much up to date, and I'll follow up on all this on all this tomorrow. And yeah. All right, so I'm gonna just read the chat real quick. Mr. Fribble says, "Pay pig blown the mouse." Mr. Fribble says, "Pay pig blow the fuck out." My favorite streamer at the moment is Southern Parvey Call Center. I haven't really. All I know about SPCC is that clip when he called up Katankasaw and he argued with his mom. That was pretty entertaining. And also I heard him on the Killstream ones trolling a Mormon center, which was also mildly entertaining. That prank calls, I've listened to occasionally, not shows, but I've listened to prank calls occasionally on YouTube and other places, and they're pretty funny sometimes, but it's not really my cup of tea. Jen Silverstein says they cucked to make and Mark's been like a sissy blowing down to them for hosting it. I believe he's referring to 8chan, and apparently talking about the controversy involving the AMA on 4chan that happened recently. I don't know much about the situation, so I really can't comment about that. Mal says, I highly recommend you get a new mic. Oh yeah, I already read that. Yep, I'll be getting one. I'll be getting one soon. The Plate Gang is the new anime mafia. LOL. Nah, I think there's some significant differences between the Plate Gang and the anime mafia. Mainly that being that, like, the anime mafia was pretty much just a nebulous sort of group, where the Plate Gang is specific people and a very tightly knit group, and they have different aims. Anime mafia was more or less Anime Mafia was more or less a response to disgruntlement and disillusionment with the whole blood sports thing, where they thought it would be a show where people would just be brutally honest with each other and hash it out in a live entertainment setting. And that turned out not to be the case. It was full of hug boxing and too much hurt feelings and internet friends, and basically the usual people trying to fuck over other people for money and cash. Plate Gang just seems to be just a troll group, from my understanding. I've spoken to them to the members over there of them a few times. Like, pretty much if you're a Spurg and you're autistic and you overreact to shit, then they'll fuck with you. Otherwise, they'll just do their own thing. It's Bloodsports 2, Electric Spurgaloo. Yeah, that's accurate. That's very accurate to what's happening now. Ralph and Zoom streaming at the same time currently. Oh, okay. That's interesting. I wonder how their numbers are doing. And I also wonder what they're saying about one another. Actually, I'll just ask, is Ralph talking about any of this on his show tonight, or is he just completely ignoring it like he did the last few times? Otherwise, I fully expect Zoom to be stream sniping and giving us comments on it. Okay, so all right, so Ralph will be covering it tomorrow. That'll be interesting to see what he has to say in regards to all this. I'm wondering if Gator will be back at that point. And yeah, that I think yeah, all right. That about wraps up the show tonight. Tomorrow I'll be back. And again, if I made any mistakes in anything I talked about, or you feel like I left something out, or you think that something needs to be updated, just leave a comment in the YouTube video below, or you can send me a message on Twitter, and I'll post that in the chat. That's at JMKACC on Twitter. Or you can join the Discord, which is linked in the description. You all have a good night, and thanks for watching.